So, ladies and gentlemen, fanboys and girls, nerds, weebs, and otaku, welcome back and welcome home.
Yes, I needed a moment to start this show, so we got the longer intro. And it's funny because somebody's been telling me, Ralph, what happened to the Writ intro? Look, man, it's a short intro. It just starts the show. Sometimes I need to get ready.
You need to get the composure. You need to go behind the scenes. You need to look in the mirror. You need to scream, "I am the hype. I am a big deal." And then, like, when the camera comes back on, you're ready.
And as much fun as we were having in the green room, my brain goes, you need a moment to start.
This kind of reminds me of the episode of Archer when he goes on a rampage because he's going through cancer and chemo and he's trying to like investigate the root of this evil medical deal, and he's just sitting in the car going rampage before he gets on the rampage.
That's exactly what it's like.
That's exactly it, because I've had a couple of D&D games where you know how it is. You're supposed to be in character, and sometimes you're just not there. So you got to figure out how to get yourself into character while you're playing.
Yep. Even harder when you're the GM, and then you're just like, I have to prep myself to wrangle like 5 people to do this thing without getting sidetracked, hopefully.
I really like that. We're talking before the show started, introvert versus extrovert. I'm very much an extrovert, so I actually thrive off of reacting off of other people. I just really enjoy if somebody says something, I'm like right there.
So the funny thing is I'm sort of like an extroverted introvert, I guess, where like I love playing off of other people's energy. I love doing throwbacks to whatever, but like I need like, 5 days of sleep afterwards because it just completely drains everything I had, like every last drop of brain power.
I'm the same as Matta. I can work off of people, and if you watch me long enough, you can see like especially if the show has some high energy person, I'll end up the show with the same type of high energy, and then as soon as the show finishes and I leave you guys from the screen, I'm like,
this is why we vibe so well.
Guys on me even when the lights go off, but I'm never gonna be that high energy. So
I love your energy levels. Exactly. You're always like so zen, like you figured out something about the universe that we don't know.
Exactly. I always tell Shadow Rabbit, he's our Bob Ross.
He really is.
Nice.
Man, you gotta stop talking to me so pretty. I'm gonna
see
blushing.
The smooth talker.
Yep.
Oh, whew. So, Matta, let's start off by telling the people what you're up to, because I'm wanting, and I'm folks, I'm poking you. I'm wanting Matta to get to 55 while we're on the show. You ain't gonna do it. I know it already, but we gotta try this.
We gotta try. Yeah, sure. Let's go for it.
It'd be funny if it would have been there already.
That would be hilarious. I mean, that would be your magic at work, because every time you've refreshed anything I've done, like the number's just gone up, and like I'll refresh it and the number will go down, and I'll just be like, "What the hell just happened?"
That's a written rip bump right there,
It is, yeah.
That's why last time when I would check your thing, and then certain numbers went up and certain numbers went down, and I'm sitting there going, "What the freak is going on?"
Oh yeah, it's like the number of backers goes up, but then the money goes down, and it's just like, how did that happen?
That was crazy, man.
Yeah,
Then I had
it
to
was-
talk to Matt. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Then she explained the whole story. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, someone just dropped like a $250 pledge, but hey, I got $5 from like 3 other people. I
got
laughed
it.
to stop
Go for
myself
it.
from crying.
Crowdsourcing is just so much fun. It sounds like.
It is like you have to hate yourself something fierce to do crowdfunding sometimes. It's like willingly putting yourself through like a never-ending gauntlet of psychic damage. Like that's it.
Psychic damage.
The worst kind. It's yeah.
The middle, the lull in the middle of the campaign.
Oh, horrible.
Just the dead quiet.
My God. Yeah, and you're just thinking like, no, there's got to be something I can do to like generate the excitement, and then like after a while you just give up, but then you're kicking yourself for giving up, and you're like, no, I should have done something, and then like usually within the last 4 days I kind of like rally myself back and do the final push, but yeah, it is like just mentally painful.
Especially when you're not funded.
Yeah. Or when you're like, oh my God, poor John, who was like funded in like the last 4 hours.
Oh, that's always. Dude, I always tell people help them get funded, because once they're funded, they can relax. After that, it's all about trying to make more money. When they're not funded, the whole time you're doing this Kickstarter, you're sitting there going,
yeah, you're just like screaming into a paper bag at that point, and like
not breathing into a paper bag.
No, you're screaming. You're like screaming a hole through the bag.
I love it.
So yeah, I mean, and especially when people know that they're gonna back it, like and just like back it a little sooner. Let people sleep. Let like save the paper bags. Like those go into recycling. Those don't get screamed into. Once you scream into it, you can't recycle it. Just remember that.
Yeah, because then the scream.
That's law.
Yes.
Yeah, because the scream is inside the bag.
I want to make the rules, or maybe I do.
Hold on. Do you smell? This bag smells like breath.
Exactly.
This bag smells like suffering. We can't use this.
Because suffering leads to hate.
It does. Like we can't have that.
Oh man. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. So this thing that I'm complaining about.
It would be really funny if there's like the bad juju law. It's like, yeah, no, if this thing's got.
Yeah, exactly. The bag just has too much bad juju.
Exactly.
It's bag juju. We don't want bag juju.
Like the horrible kind of bag juju.
The worst kind.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, the thing that I've been complaining about. It is definitely a labor of love. It is a comic that I do everything for. I do the writing, I do the penciling, inking, coloring, lettering, marketing, shipping, kickstartering. I don't get a lot of sleep.
Wow.
Yeah, the only thing I don't do is sleep, apparently. And yeah, it's called Sacrimony, A Tale of Love, Life, and Death in no particular order. And it is the story of a teenage girl who died, but then she got better.
I love it.
And as with all mysterious resurrection stories, there's a catch. The catch is that she has no memory of her past, no idea why she has magical powers, or why she has demon wings that she now has to hide from society. Think of it as like Saga, but not in space, and if the parents hated each other.
That's quite a combo.
Thank you.
When did you launch number 1?
Oh man, way back in March 2021.
So 2020, so 3 years in, and you're on issue 7. That's pretty cool.
That's impressive.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, also, I have 2 issues of another comic that I've also drawn and written. So I've done like 9 issues so far. I've done a trade paperback. Where's my trade paperback? I do have it handy. Like I consolidated a trade paperback of issues 1 through 5 of Sacrimony, because like 5 issues of the story arc. And yes, all of
very nice.
Thank you. I can never find my camera to flip properly, so it's like always in the corner. But yeah, there's a lot that happens. Very dramatic. It's very down to earth, even though there's like, fantasy gods that ruin everything. It's still a very human story about like dysfunctional families and like unresolved grief and all of those other depressing topics. But it's also kind of funny, so it keeps you. It keeps the mood fluctuating, I guess. It's not all gloom and doom and depression. There's funny moments, there's like stupid moments, like real life. Art imitates life.
Well, the gods imitate life too. Or we
Oh
imitate
god, yep.
gods. Yeah.
The gods are fun. They're
Just
just
look
a
at
big
Zeus, man. Just look at Zeus.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely those sort of like Greek mythology vibes going on where the gods are definitely like petty and they're very imperfect and they like need a therapist very badly. So if you're the kind of person that likes to like, you know, scream at characters making bad decisions or people watch or whatever, like this definitely up your alley.
I can tell you, as you're reading the book, you're going, "Why, lady? Why? Why are you doing this?"
Like, why are you like this?
Oh my god, you're enjoying it the whole time. You're just sitting there going.
Well, the fun thing also is that you start to get the flashbacks and you learn why the character's like that, and you're like,
Yeah,
okay, I get that, but also why?
exactly.
Throw the book across the room. Yell at the book as it's falling down.
Yeah, and then you go and pick it
Absolutely.
up.
You know
again.
what? If someone throws my book and then picks it up to read it again, like I feel like I've accomplished what I needed to accomplish. Like I would love to see like, I don't know, heated like Reddit debates where people are like, this character's trash, and then someone else is like, oh no, actually they're not because X, Y, and Z, and then people are like, no, but they're still trash. And like I want these arguments to like end friendships and like, you know, estranged families and stuff.
You got to be careful. This is starting to sound like American politics.
Oh dear. I mean, it's satire, so there's definitely some of that.
I should disclaim I'm a Canadian, so it just makes my joke a little bit of a different point.
Fair. One of the lucky ones, I guess.
It's funny, Matta, because you know, at the same time, you can feel the D&D role playing aspect of it. You know, I can. This is the kind of stuff you see your party go through, and you're sitting there going, "What the hell's wrong with you people?"
Yeah, and also it's so entertaining at the same time.
Exactly.
Like, this isn't what was supposed to happen, but also this is really funny, or like this is some great drama.
All right, because it's always the same thing. Oh my God, Ralph, you planned this so well. I'm like, I didn't plan shit. You guys went in that direction. This is your fault. Don't give me that.
Yeah, not good.
The last
Not
2
good.
hours I've been reactively trying to keep ahead of you.
Exactly.
I think I picked up a lot of my storytelling from like D&D and like Vampire the Masquerade and role playing and
feel it,
stuff
yeah.
because like I never set out to really be a writer or like I had the story idea, but I was like, all right, whatever. It's just gonna like, you know, sit in my head and rot while I do like some kind of grown-up job or whatever. And then like, you know, the more I got into D&D and like role-playing games and stuff in general, like I was just like,
It just
hey,
helps
storytelling
you out.
is fun.
Yeah.
And then it's like, maybe I should do something with this story that's been sitting in my head for like 25 years.
Exactly.
So yeah, in a weird like roundabout way, I kind of just like fell into the writing department.
Well, I'm happy you did because you've created something good here.
Thank you.
This and your other book especially.
Oh yeah, The Misadventures of Buddy and Friend definitely reads like a D&D campaign where everyone rolls a 1.
Dude.
Yeah, you know, I'm so salty because if this campaign for Zacrimony 7 went through, like now I'd be launching Buddy and Friend 3.
That's what I thought. I
Yeah.
was like, wait a minute, we should be having Buddy and Friend.
Like we need more Buddy and Friend in our lives, more D&D chaos energy.
Matta, what's your favorite natural one story?
Ooh.
Oh my god, I can tell you this off the top of my head because it was me and my bestie. She was playing a wizard, and I was playing a cleric, and we were fighting something in a barn. And she just kept, like 3 times in a row, she rolled a critical failure with chromatic orb and kept hitting me.
Wow.
Oh wait, no, I wasn't playing a cleric. Sorry, I was playing my sorceress, who is also like a cop for some reason. It's a weird story, but yeah. So it's like she just kept hitting me with chromatic orb because it's like the DM decided that like, you know what. All right, so here's how we do critical fails, especially with spells, is that once you fail, you roll a d8, and whatever number that lands on, that's like the direction that you shoot in. So if it's like 1, it's like there, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Interesting.
So not only did she critical fail 3 times in a row, but she shot in my direction with the d8 3 times in a row.
Wow.
And I didn't die, but it was just like this character that I've been playing, the sorceress, was just like, she always has a habit of just getting knocked out in like the dumbest way. So then, like after the battle, she always just gets up and she's like, "Did we win?"
Did I miss something?
It's like Jack Burton when he shoots the concrete and it falls on his head.
Oh,
Critical
man.
fail. Critical fail.
That's a good story.
Thank you, thank you. It's like I wasn't even mad at her in the moment because it was just so stupidly funny. Because that's all you can do at that point is just laugh and be like, "Ha, this game hates me."
Yeah.
One time when I was a dungeon master for a game, I had 2 people playing for this one meeting, and one was a fighter barbarian combo, so a tank more or less. And another guy was a rogue, and they're at this castle, and there's reports of this small group of orcs advancing on the castle. So these 2 fellas decide they want to go and scout ahead and size up this tiny army. The barbarian decides, I'm going to start carving out stakes and shoving them into the ground to make a makeshift barricade to kind of bottleneck them as they're advancing on me so I don't have to take as many at once at a time. The rogue says, well, I want to scout ahead and go about halfway between where they are currently and where my friend is sharpening the stakes.
Oh yeah, let's just split the party.
Uh-oh.
So the barbarian does a constitution check to decipher how many stakes he sharpens over the hour. And during that hour, the rogue gets halfway up and he's in a bush. He says, okay, I'm going to use my telescope and I want to do a perception check on them to size them up, see where they're obviously strong, look at any type of weaknesses, kind of make a strategy off of what you could tell me. Okay, well, go ahead, roll perception check. He rolls a natural 1. I go on to explain to him how he's looking at a large man sitting on a rock sharpening sticks. Looking the wrong way.
Wonderful.
Wow. That's great.
Natural ones.
I have another favorite natural 1 story, actually. So I was playing. All right, I always make like the most convoluted characters because I don't like sticking to the cookie cutter. Like, all right, this is what this race does. That's what that race does, or whatever. So I played a male drow whose name was Nancy.
The drow.
Yeah, male drow, because they have the whole thing where it's like if you like, what is it? If you have sons and then you have like a 4th son or whatever, you have to kill them because they're sort of like a matriarchal society, what have you. So yeah, so he had to pretend to be a girl, and his name was Nancy. But
I love the story.
So yeah, my characters are so convoluted. They have like 8-page backstories.
Well, that actually sounds kind of cookie cutter to the lore, but it is a unique play on the character. I'm impressed so far.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so like he got caught like peeing standing up, and he had to leave his people and flee for his life. This is still just the backstory.
Did he have to dress very like presentable and prim and pristine?
Yes.
So did anybody end up calling him Fancy Nancy?
No, unfortunately. So once he leaves his people, he goes out venturing into the world, and he realizes that like drow are not very well received, in the normal world. So he wears a paper bag over his head. I'm so glad I didn't drink. I'm so glad.
This is just getting better and better. Wow.
He wears a paper bag over his head, and he was traveling with my other friend who was playing a barbarian and another friend who's playing a cleric. And, like they kept kind of hounding him, like, why are you wearing this paper bag? And, he'd make excuses like, no, I'm just really
what
like
paper bag?
No, he'd just be like, no, I'm like fugly. Like, you don't want to see this face.
Wow.
So, after like the 50th time of them asking, the DM was just like, just roll a deception check. So I rolled a deception check and I roll a 1. And the DM is just like, okay, you just take the paper bag off, and like that's it. So I just rolled with it. This is like I massively failed the deception check. So he just rips the bag off. He's like, are you happy? This is why.
That's great. I love it.
That's great.
Thank you.
That's a great moment. See, I love backstory like that. Sometimes you get these people who play your game and you're like, okay, so create your character, get your backstory, and then they come
I'm
up
an
to
elf
you.
ranger. Like
Yeah.
anything else, I'm an elf ranger.
I'm a finger. Yeah. Okay.
And
Well,
like that's a fine way to play if like that's what they want to do, I guess. But sometimes you just get like the absolute like bonkers people like me, and you just end up reading through like 10 pages of backstory before the
no.
game even
See,
begins.
with people like you, that means I can have some fun. With somebody who's like, so what's your backstory? I'm a fighter. Yeah. What's
I'm a
the
fighter.
I'm
I'm a fighter named Bob McGrath, and
Uh-huh.
yeah,
I made
I'm a
a
mercenary, and my parents died, and I have no home. Like, okay, cool.
I made a character. I haven't been able to play him yet, but he's basically, the gist of him is he's a half giant rogue, and he doesn't use sneak attack. There's nothing more intimidating than a surprise warhammer driving your head through the floorboards. Just surprise, wham, kind of like a Jason Voorhees or something like that.
That'll do it. Yeah.
I think that would be extremely amusing.
Drow Bridger from Guilty Gear.
Yeah, kind of, sort of, I guess.
All right, Ray. Let's move on to D&D questing in here and show yours off.
Oh, thank you.
All right, tell the people what we got here, what it is, and all the good stuff. And I hear you're about to release a new tier soon.
Yeah,
Oh.
if I don't know if you heard the Facebook message notification, but it literally just happened now, ironically.
Oh,
So
wow.
anyway, this comic is, as you can see, called the Madcaps. We got 7 days to go. We're double funded. It is somebody upped their. Go back to the funding. Somebody upped their funding. It was.
Ralph has that effect on campaigns. I'm telling you, he's magic. Just make him refresh your page. Don't do it yourself. Just always ask Ralph to do
I
it.
need to see this now. Yes, I've got the same amount of backers, but somebody upped their funding, which makes me super happy inside. This comic is a issue 1 of 3. It's mini series. It's medieval fantasy themed, and it's based off of the first homebrew that I ever ran as a dungeon master.
Nice.
The whole thing takes place over one night, and it's about these 4 friends. They all meet up back at their old stomping grounds, and before they can leave for work, they're stuck in a scenario involving the local drug problem and the undead, and it just goes crazy from there. If I had
love that each character gets their own cover. Sorry to cut you off, but that's
all good. These are all variant covers, and they're all different artists. If you go back to go up one more, there's Madracus. Okay, so this drawing here, that is drawn by the original artist of Ghost Rider Volume 2 when Dan Ketch took over in the early 90s.
Nice.
He drew the first year of all that. Really cool to have him draw one of my characters because it actually looks like it should be in that era of Ghost Rider in one of those panels.
It does.
Is that your most popular cover?
Super cool, man.
You know what? So far, the first one with all 4 characters seems to be getting the most love. There's a lot of positive critique on each cover for different reasons. A lot of people try to guess what classes they are based off of me describing the characters. Most people say that dwarf there in the green is, a lot of people think he's kind of like a cleric ranger mix. If you
Are they right?
That would be the closest equivalent. I wouldn't say they're wrong, but you're trying to fit it into 5e, right? Where I took the 5e story and put in new characters, so they're not exactly a specific archetype.
Right.
Oh, cool. So you're kind of breaking the mold there.
Yes, kind of like you're saying. I wouldn't go as far as saying convoluted, but I would definitely say I'm trying to just not necessarily different, but more just unique. And I didn't want it to be cookie cutter. I didn't want it to feel like it's been done. I wanted to just feel like it's something worthy of something new to the comic industry. This cover here was hand painted by a fellow named John Zalesnik.
Amazing.
John Zalesnik painted the cover, the cartridge art to the original Shinobi for NES.
That's why this is familiar.
Yeah, this This guy, he's made a lot of money off of Warhammer images and Magic the Gathering, and he did a lot of video games through the 90s and early 2000s that I've played numerous times. So again, this is another full circle moment.
Love it.
This character, he kind of hails off of like this creature known as like the Great Storm Worm. It's like a kaiju like electric eel. So he can actually like store lightning in his gizzard and then like regurgitate or vomit it out after the fact.
Dang.
He's kind of
amazing.
Kind of an intimidating looking fella, but his brains actually surpasses Braun for sure. He has a lot of he has a passion for the arcane, so he can cast spells and stuff. A lot of people kind of summarize him as something like a fighter or an Eldritch Knight or some equivalent to that. If you go down one more, this little guy's he's a half dwarf, half gnome. You can see that tube sticking out over his shoulder. That's actually a telescope. His little muddled bloodline has interesting. There's a very intimidating spider on the wall here.
Oh dear.
He chooses to live for now.
You live for now.
Choose why walk this way and die. That's all I have to say. Anyways, besides that distraction. So this little guy, because of his tainted bloodline, unlike his gnomish mother who has arcane influence over nature, he appears to have a similar caliber of influence, but over metals and crystalline structures like glass and gems and things like that. So that telescope over his shoulder, he's kind of rigged it into a contraption that can just blast raw arcana out of it. So when his goggles are on, it will actually track his eyes and will actually kind of like a cannon, kind of like War Machine's shoulder mounted
Okay.
cannon.
I want one.
Like,
you can see a smithing hammer glowing there. He can actually heat up steel and do some other cool crafty things like that. I like the idea of him, like you see the look on his face and you see the smoking telescope. If you look in the foreground there, you can see that what's left of the tree stump he just tested it on. The expression on his face is supposed to be like, it actually worked and I'm surprised I'm still alive kind of thing.
That's the expression it looks like, yeah.
I like the concept of this little guy. He's less than 4 feet, but he can just reduce a tree into splinters. I just find that amusing and comical.
Yeah, it's always the small yet powerful characters where people underestimate them. Like, oh, little shorty, what are you gonna do? And then just completely blast them away.
Yeah, usually in the comic you'll see him with a buckler shield in one hand and a smithing hammer, and then this lovely telescope. He's kind of not quite a siege weapon, but like you said, there's his efforts definitely exceed his appearance. Then the last cover, this was done by Erica Hollis. This fella, his name is Chazgo Blundale.
He looks like a Chaz.
A lot of people try to compare him to a drow, but it's not quite the same. Again, I wanted to make my own kind of spin on things. So this guy is actually a race of elves known as Argers, and they live up in a mountain range that is riddled with silver deposits. This actually happens with humans in real life. One was interviewed on Oprah, but if you consume enough silver, it actually tattoos your cells, all of them, your skin and everything blue. It's really, really cool. And basically these Argers, they, over generations of time living amongst silver for so long, they're all just blue-skinned elves.
I love that. See, that makes sense, because when you look at the drow, it's like, oh, well, they live in a cave, but they have dark skin. It's like, no, they should be like...
They should be pale.
Yeah, they should be like whiter than paper.
Irish pasty white, Conan O'Brien kind of pale.
Right, like you turn off the light and they glow in the dark kind of white.
In this case, because of all this silver flowing through his veins, in real life, this is actually over long terms fatal to humans, but he's an elf, so we can ignore that dynamic, of course.
This is fantasy. We can ignore anything.
Exactly.
But all that silver going through his veins actually makes him resistant to magic, which is an interesting byproduct. His people would be classed as xenophobic. They don't like outsiders too much, and they're actually so violent and primitive towards people not of their own. Kids make up scary stories based off of Argers. He left his people. He felt they're very dysfunctional, and he was approached by this being known only as Annette. And despite his resistances, she was able to grant him some magical abilities. He was able to, one of the gifts is he's able to hide his appearance. So in this image, you see him entering a lit room, but donning a human disguise at the same time. Erica, when she was making this image, she did it on a play of light as well. So it's almost like the shadow is still showing who he is. It's almost like the light is covering him up, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I totally get it, because
Love
it's
the
like
play.
there's the warmer side and it looks more like human, and then it's like the darker side and he looks more of like his OG features.
But many individuals outside of his people, if they would see him, they just kill him on sight because they have that bad of a reputation. And I kind of, each character, all four of them, have different ways and views of fitting in. And I liked his because I think every human being, you're made up of a bunch of different variables. Some variables, some might not everybody might not necessarily like it. Might not be your first impressions. You might talk about that. So I think everybody can relate of like holding back portions of yourself before you get to know somebody. So with
Absolutely.
him,
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Other than his three friends, nobody knows his actual identity. The last thing I'll say about him, though, ironically, as a human, he's been working his way up as a representative of the local nobles. So it's a very fine line of, if he was ever exposed, he'd be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, that would be very messy, I assume.
There's a couple of interiors down after this. The first 3 pages, the whole thing is lettered and finished. It's colored, the works. This was colored by Dan Kemp. He colored over 100 issues of Spawn, basically 50 to 150. He was the second person to color that comic series after Steve Olive. It starts off, you can see the 2 characters. They're entering the city. They're going to meet up with their other 2 friends. And they have a little, through their conversation, you get a little bit about why they're there and their views of the city. And there's a couple of pages that are later on in the story I showed without any of the lettering. You can see the undead outbreak just starting on this page here at the bottom panel. And a couple of pages later, I showed one more image of just a little bit of action. You can see Chasgo there. He is... because he's portrayed as just a human, you can see him in his human form. They're actually running away. If he actually used some of his magical gifts, it would actually throw off his whole persona that he's been playing up. So unfortunately, he can't help his friends, so he decides to run the other way and get more guards to help out. You can see Madrakis there, the lightning, kind of like a Godzilla-looking kind of thing.
I love it. I want that power.
Yep.
I want a gizzard that stores lightning.
But all in all, this has been a really cool experience. This is my first time on the creator side of a comic book. If you scroll down, you'll see some concept sketches of each character and some bios. Anybody can look these up and read them themselves. It's a little bit wordy, but Jay Sloan did all the concept art. This concept art is actually going to be released in the next stretch goal, which we're not too far off from attaining. It's less than $400 to go, so it's within striking distance, that's for sure.
Excellent.
If we hit that stretch goal, there'll be 4 more pages added to the book, and each one will be this sketch art. It'll show some more, all by Jay Sloan, and bios of all the characters.
Nice.
Their stats, their background, what makes them tick, and everything leading up to this comic book. And we got a lot of cool rewards. Obviously the digital copy, and then there's a physical copy where you can pick one of the 5. We have sketch covers. We got a lot of cool stuff. Right here, if you go down, it's showing it half it at the bottom there. That is a Virgin wraparound cover. Costs a little bit more. That art was done by Sean Langley and colored again by Dan Kemp, rather. I drank my flavored water too quickly.
Oh, no. That's an amazing cover, though.
Now, because you can see that further down, but if you go to the next one, because this does have a D&D theme, shout out to Warwick Doolin for the 3D modeling, but you can see one of each character as a miniature. You can purchase those in a D20, the style modeled after the MadCap's logo. You can pick 3 of a kind. You can get 1 of each cover. If you scroll down a couple more, there's just so many things to see here. There's one called Full Inventory, which is the best bang for your buck, arguably.
Wow.
You get the miniatures, the dice, all 5 covers, a pinup of the art you saw there at the wraparound cover. Wraparound cover isn't included in this. It's a little bit extra. It's kind of a bit more premium. But if you see in the bottom right of that one we're looking at, you'll see there's actually laser engraved wood. It's the same size as a comic book. It's the original, the main cover. If you stain it, it actually darkens the engraving and actually gives, like, a walnut is a good one to use on this. Just really pops. I'm a real
amazing.
fan. Not too much left to show. If you scroll down a little bit more, show a couple more things. So we've got the D20 dice, of course, and the miniatures under that. The last thing I wanted to show you, there's a pinup. Keep going. Here we go. So you can get that pinup full color. It's beautiful art, and that's $10. For an extra $5, if you scroll down, you can get the color and the black and white. Again, debuting Sean Langley's ability with pencil and ink. I'm just beside myself.
Wow.
I always love seeing people's like black and white artwork. It's
just
so mesmerizing.
Sean did a really good job of showing all 4 characters doing their thing, for lack of better wording, but at the same time drawing the eyes still to the center. At no time, although I mean, I could look at it for hours, each square inch, and take in and analyze it. But if I look at it just as a whole, my eye is drawn to the center, but at the same time, it shows all the cool stuff happening at the same time. I'm really happy.
Very well laid out.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful piece of work. I'm a fan. If you scroll down a little bit more, I don't think there's, obviously, the miniatures. Keep going. There's the wood panel, a little bit closer look.
Wow. That looks even better.
Yes.
That's such a cool idea for a reward too. I don't think I've ever seen anybody like just have a wood panel like that.
I got inspired by Carissa Grant. She's done that with her.
Oh my God, she's done like every reward idea in the book. She's
Queen
like,
of
I've got
Overlord.
coins, I've got like plushies, I've got like miniature statues. Like, I'm not surprised you heard about it from her. She's
The
done
Queen of
everything.
Birch. I think that's the last critical thing. Of course, it shows the team underneath. Interiors were done by Evan Quiring. That's just the retailer tier there, of course. Evan Quiring did the interiors. We'll talk about the stretch goals first. So when we hit $1,000, we got a map. It's drawn by Storm Wickham. Also colored, surprise, surprise, by Dan Kemp, who wanted to keep the colors humble to make it look like it was actual parchment. This map is just showing where this comic takes place. So that's about the same size as the comic. That I'm really happy with how that one turned out. It looks really, really nice.
Also, in fantasy, you need your maps. You need to know where things are. Like, I love a good fantasy map.
And if you scroll down, there's this is the one we're shooting for right now. And again, that's one of each page, or 4 pages. One page is each page rather is dedicated to one of these 4 characters. It shows, it'll talk about their background, what they can do, what makes them tick, that kind of thing, the relationships with each other. The concept art will be in there. Big fan of what Jay Sloan did. I'm super happy with how all this has just come together. This is my first time writing a comic, so one thing I wanted to do is, it's up to the people that read it to decide whether or not I'm a decent writer. But one thing I wanted to make sure it was undeniable is everything I wasn't doing, I wanted to make sure it was good caliber talent. So the colorists, the cover art, the interiors, the letterer, the person who did all the letters, Micah Myers, he was a 2-time Ringo nominee.
Wow.
And I told him, well, hopefully you get it this time with my book. So, and he put it all together very well. So, of course, myself, interiors, Evan Quiring of Winnipeg, who's just under that. He's got a book called Murder City Devil, and also Lucha Mysteries. Cyclone Comics is his label. There's Dan Kemp underneath there. And then not lastly, Micah Myers, letter. He literally has letterer tattooed on his knuckles there.
I love it.
He's dedicated to his craft. And then shout out to Philip Russert. I am getting a little late here, so I'm stuttering my words.
I've started calling him in my head, like never to his face. I started calling him Philbo too, just because it's like Philbo Publishing. So
Yeah.
I'm right there with you.
Apparently, the story behind that is his wife used to make fun of his big hairy feet, so he was like a pun on Bilbo.
Oh, so he's a hobbit. Okay.
Yeah.
Hobbit.
But I'm very grateful he took a chance on me. So he's actually running this Kickstarter under his brand. All I have to do is promote and be happy about it and enjoy it and promote and promote
and hustle and promote.
Yeah,
hustle
and grind.
Yes. Underneath, Phil, you know what? I just want to do. Philip deserves this, but if you scroll down a little bit, he's got a couple of cool books coming out. I can't talk about all of them, but I want to talk about a couple. Light Warriors, I don't know too much about. If you scroll down beneath that, he's got one called Arcane Syndicate. Apollo, I'm not familiar. Papa, okay, we'll talk about that. I actually reviewed the script to this comic series.
Yeah,
it's frustrating exactly how little I can talk about because it's so intertwined with itself in a really good way.
Yeah.
This is a dedication to his father. His goal originally was to finish this book for his father to read, and that didn't work out. But this book, what's the movie where what's his name from Better Call Saul? He fights the mafia.
What's it called?
The RZA and Doc Brown are in it at the end, helping him fight off these guys.
Mr. Nobody or something.
I think it's just Nobody. It's an old guy versus the mafia in this comic, and I can't say anything else about it, but it is enjoyable. And the last
is a really good book.
Yes,
and you're right, DM. There's no way to actually.
I can't say anymore. It's frustrating, but in a good way.
Yeah, it is. And folks, if you read this, you'll be pleasantly surprised.
This one, there's no way. I believe it's 5 comics off the top of my head. I read it last fall.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing it all one graphic novel, and the reason being is it spoils itself, but doesn't right off the first issue, and it's just entertainment. And to quote Phil himself, he was told some people compared it to Silver Age style storytelling in a comic.
Definitely.
And I would agree with that.
Yeah.
And the last thing I'll say is this one right here, Arcane Syndicate. I'll be backing that probably first day. It's imagine the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, but with universal horror monsters. This cover here, there's a whole subplot of 3 different Draculas claiming to be the original, and they're all your classic Dracula, Vlad the Impaler, and Nosferatu. They're all very different, but they all claim to be Dracula. That's just one subplot. I haven't read this yet, but all the cool stuff going on about it that I've heard, I'm very, very interested to see.
The art alone. Whew.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Nothing short of beautiful. But going back on topic, the Madcaps. If you like camaraderie, this story is supposed to, and I've said this on other streams, if you have a group of friends that you don't get to see as often as you would want to, when you do, it's very refreshing. Even if you're an introvert and burned out, we were talking about that earlier, burned out after the fact, you are recharged in different ways. And you say to yourself, I really needed that. I didn't realize how much I needed it. This comic is supposed to be an homage to that level of camaraderie. Yes. Yeah. Dan Kemp knocked that cover there you see there. That's Dan Kemp. His level of coloring is there's no debate. It is world caliber. And I don't, just like Phil, he took a chance on me, and I'm beside myself that he actually did this. Another cool thing, that one cover I did with the ghostwriter artist.
Yeah.
I just like the idea of the fella who colored a Hellspawn for 100 issues, combining with a fella who did a Marvel equivalent of a Hellspawn and combining their skills, which is kind of funny. But anyways, just to, I don't want to steal this whole stream here, but basically, if you like the concept of how you step up when your friends are around you, how friends have an influence on you, like that can be good or bad. Sometimes they bring out bad in you as well. Basically, if you like those dynamics, if you like fantasy, and if you like the undead, if you like short mysteries, and this is a book of its own, so there's no, it's scaled down to a street level heroes. It's a very intimate setting. There's no world, universe, or multiversal threats or anything like that. Something different for a change.
Love it.
It is definitely worth the investment. I would definitely. I guess the last thing I'll say is by issue 3, the payoff is huge. Each issue is an act. By act 3, it is damn well worth it.
How many issues is it going to be in total?
3 total. That is it.
Okay.
So beginning, middle, end. That's pretty much the breakdown of each comic.
Rob Longo says the wood etching perk is super cool.
It is.
Thanks, Ben.
And Mr. Nathan, who's not here right now, I guess we found out why. Don't you love it when your train goes nope?
No, I don't.
Notice me, Matta Senpai.
Well, no, I'm just not going to pay attention to him.
Lou, do you love me?
Long time, brother.
I think that's bored on the train.
You think?
Wow. Dude,
Can I play a trailer? Is that okay?
Yeah,
That will be my closure here. I'm just closing here, share. Love how I have to click on multiple things that all say like share.
Yeah.
Share here, share tab. There's like
Share
5
this, share
shares.
that.
There we go. How's that? Good?
Looks good.
So this is 3 of the characters are trying to get some information out of a junkie, essentially. And I'll let the rest of it speak for itself.
Would you be able to tell me where you were going to pick up this fresh stuff? No way, man! You could save many lives here. I'd rather die. Oi!
Death is a privilege which you will not be getting today.
Are you crazy? Go for a walk. I can't heal everything our large friend is about to deal out to you. You can either talk to our dwarven friend here, or you can talk to me. The dwarf! The dwarf!
That is such a moment for a game.
My God, I love it because I was like, oh, they're doing the good cop, bad cop thing. But no, it's bad cop and worse cop, which is even better.
Full circle back to the dwarf that they weren't even thinking about up to that point.
Yep.
Dude, yeah, that's a pretty a cool reveal there with his face coming out. I go, no, don't talk to the dwarf.
Even I got a little startled. I was like, oh, what's going on? All right, that's the guy. That's his face.
Yeah. That's what he really looks like.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what he really looks like. That's the first time that the reader actually gets to see that face. And
that's such a cool moment then. Like,
yeah.
Especially considering that's like the first time you see him and you're just like, oh my God, what is that?
Now in this first book, that guy who actually shows his true appearance there, Chazgo, he actually narrates the whole thing in a letter he's writing to somebody else. Before I did that, everybody thought Chazgo was not on the level and came across as very sketch and very mysterious.
I didn't
want that intention as much as it was portraying. So I figured if he's narrating, it kind of softens that up as much as I want it to be anyways.
Oh, that's a smart move.
Yeah.
So that whole interrogation scene is some of the inspiration for that. Not all, but there's an old episode of Futurama where Bender and somebody else, I think it was Fry, they're playing in the cryogenics lab, and they would unfreeze somebody at random and then like scare the snot out of them and then refreeze them. I don't know if
Nice.
you guys remember that scene.
It sounds familiar. Yeah.
But at one point, Bender comes out and he's got like a fly mask on and a cape, and he's like, "We've taken over your species, and now we're gonna eat you." And the guy starts getting scared. He's like, "Just kidding." Pulls the mask off. "I'm a man-eating robot." His head starts spinning and stuff. It just got worse.
Oh my god.
Wow. You gotta love Futurama.
That's like, yeah, that's peak Bender behavior.
Exactly. Oh man. But it amazes me. Like, and we've already had a couple of good conversations on the show today on how inspiring D&D or roleplay is in general. I know I wouldn't be where I am today with my writing if it wasn't for any of the role-playing games that I've had to work with. You know, and each step of the way, which is what I've started to use roleplay as a teaching method for writing. Each step of the way kind of is your level of writing, because at first you're just writing character, which is the character you're creating. You know, and that's a good way to start in your writing. You write character, you write a little story, you put everything together. Then you're DMing and you're using somebody else's sandbox, you know, to sit there and create these universes and worlds. And finally, you become the DM that starts to homebrew their own games, and you're stepping out of that sandbox and doing your own thing. And that is just the step-by-step method of writing.
When I wrote this story, I actually used Roll20 and Inkarnate to make my maps and actually move the characters around. Back in the day of Marvel, they used to use Post-it notes to keep track of who was doing what. If you're using like 12 different series to all tell one story, that can get confusing. But I would actually move the characters on the board, and then this would happen, and jot out my notes and write it accordingly.
It's a good way to keep track.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, D&D, right? So it was just a natural, I guess this player would do this next. If we were role-playing the character, they would do this.
And that's a good way to think about it, because, you know, it kind of helps you out. Again, it's another way that role-playing helps you, because, you know, as you sit there and you watch your brothers and sisters play the game, or your brethren play the game, you start to get an idea of, one, dialogue, two, how each character reacts, and the fact that these characters have to stay in character usually and do what they're supposed to do. That all kind of helps you in fleshing things out.
Yes.
Yeah, because I like that you said that you think about what a character would do rather than like, oh, I think this would be like a cool piece of writing here. Like, you're actually thinking about the character as like an autonomous person who's like making their own decisions, as opposed to just like a piece to move the story along.
Yes. I was just notified. I forgot.
Oh, I should put on my shades too, just to troll Blake. Hold on a second. I finally
we got a fifth person. Who's on?
Oh, are we gonna see Matta with drip?
Oh, we're gonna see Matta with.
There's some nice glasses.
Damn.
Matta,
prescription also, because I'm blind as hell. So
Matta, you now need to show us how to mew.
I can now check out your monitor.
You need to show us how to mew.
What am I doing?
How to mew. You need to show us how to mew.
What, like mew?
Oh my goodness.
I don't know what we're talking about. I never know what you're talking about.
You guys are. See, I was thinking you were Sigma, but no, you're just a beta. Like, you can't even mew.
Sigma. I
thought you gotta tell me.
Beta, more like beta fish. I don't know.
They're pretty tough, those things. That was an interesting comeback. I gotta like that. Ralph, I forgot one.
Actually, yeah, they are the fighting fish. So yeah, that's just me saying I'll kick Nat's ass, I guess.
Andrew,
I can't believe Matta can't mew. This is a tragedy.
Oh, hey guys. Sorry I'm late. I just finished Michael's Get In Tuned interview.
Yeah.
I just wanted to stop by and say hello.
Hello.
Hi, Andrew.
Andrew,
Hey,
can
guys.
you mew?
All right, it's very dark. Don't answer that. Don't acknowledge him. Just he doesn't exist.
You now.
Ralph, I forgot something on the campaign. It was uploaded. When you had it up, it needed to be refreshed, ironically. Can I show one last thing?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes.
And boom, there's the refresh. Let me put it back up. Where are you? There you go.
Scroll down a little bit more. Go past all the images, all the characters, all the interiors,
all the cool stuff.
Yes. Unfortunately, we can't look at it all the time. But I'm glad
we can on our own time, I guess.
Exactly.
I really appreciate you doing this, Ralph. Go to.
Yes, folks, you get another little preview of everything that we just went through. This is like the rehash of the whole event that would just happen.
There. Okay, scroll down a bit. Okay, so we're going to be doing a D&D game, and you can buy in. The reason you have to buy into this D&D game is this is a professional dungeon master. His name is Michael Towson. He's voice acted for Disney, William Shatner, and other things. If you buy in, it's specifically for comic creators, for them to play as their characters in this game. So I want to make sure everybody saw this. We have some people chomping at the bit. So this literally just happened. I'm going to be talking about this as soon as I'm done on the stream. I just wanted to show this accordingly.
Yeah, folks, how would you like to play your character in a D&D game? Your comic book character. It just makes me sit here and wonder, which one would I play?
I have no idea. The possibilities are all terrible and endless.
That's what I'm saying. Like, half heroes.
Level 3 characters. Take one of your own characters from a comic, convert it to a 5th edition level 3, and let the hilarity ensue.
I'd probably play Buddy.
Waiting to happen. Hey, that'd be a good idea. You can play Buddy.
Yes, please play Buddy.
The morally ambiguous, true neutral. I guess he was once a paladin, but he's not anymore.
Both breaker or just ignores his abilities?
He has no abilities. His ability is like hiding and like hitting people in the face with a flail.
It's MadCap. It's amazing.
No pun intended, right? It's MadCap.
That's great.
I feel a kinship with Buddy because like he does things and he just gets like so much shit for no reason. Like, yeah. Right, what you know?
Yeah.
And I kept telling her, dude, it's like Order of the Stick. But my God, when I first got it, I was like, this is like Order of the Stick level hilarity.
Thank you.
You know, yeah. So, or Dork Tower. Oh my God, I miss Dork Tower.
So wait. Is this the first time we got Matta and Andrew on the same show?
No, we've been on the same show before.
I thought so. I was just trying to think about it right now. I was like, wait a minute.
No, we've been on the same show before. We've been in the same con space before as well.
Oh no, I know that much. I was just wondering if this is the first time on the Written Writ or Bitten Apple.
Yeah, we first met. I think we first met in what's it? Tonto.
Yeah, way back in the trenches.
Yeah, and so like I went to D&D, and everyone was like, "Oh, you do comic books now?" No, I work for Dungeons and like what? Where have you been? And I was like, "Oh, I've just been working." But yeah, it's just kind of cool that I remember buying Buddy and Friends. I don't know where it is now, but I remember Buddy and Friends. There was one where like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles just popped up, or I'm sorry, I can't say it like that, but
man, you're spoiling it.
Yeah, I know, man. So, yeah, it was kind of cool. It's just MadCap.
Folks, sorry, you got to get some Buddy. You got
yeah,
there's
cool.
There's a lot of funny parody stuff that happens down
there. Oh
yeah.
If you like when you roll a 1 in your games, you'll like this book.
Pretty much.
So Andrew, tell the people a little bit about yourself, because you're coming in a little late in the game. But we need to know who you are.
Sorry.
No. You were actually hanging out with Michael, so
yeah. He went through. Yeah. His episode was where we're talking about game developing and maps, developing maps and absolutely developing adventures. But then we also talk about other stuff. But it was a lot about how my process of drawing maps. My name is Andrew Frank Rodriguez Art. I'm a I was a art director for a Dungeon Masters Guild supplement for the Aberon series for Wizard of the Coast.
Wow.
Called it's called Coven of the Kybermark. It was my first introduction professionally to a Dungeons and Dragons style game, written by Tim Hitchcock. I would have absolutely had the pleasure of working with a good friend of mine that was kind of my mentor when I was growing up in gaming. Met up with him, and during COVID lockdown, I got my first big professional opportunity to work for the big the big Dungeons and Dragons guys. But I was about to say double D's, but that's a really bad word. But I'm going to tell you right now, after that, I started developing another game for Storm Buddy Studios. It is called Bloodlines of Black Magic. Sorry, I'm not sure if you guys understand what American cryptids and American folk tales and paranormal investigations, supernatural, black-eyed children being abducted by aliens, lost in the woods of seeing stairs in the middle of the woods that go nowhere. If you like all that beautiful, creepy, paranormal, creepypasta, missing 401 style, Sasquatch ate my baby kind of stuff, Skinwalker Ranch, you name it, and you're just some guy in the hills with a shotgun, or some teen with a cool magic spell book, that's your game. If you love like supernatural, hell, you can make Dean and Winchester. You can make Dean and Sam Winchester. Hell, I wanted to play cats, but someone already was playing cats. So you know what I'm saying? So yeah. So it was a Storm Bunny Studios, Bloodlines of Black Magic. I play tested that game, enjoyed the living hell out of it. These guys are from Wisconsin, and a good friend of mine is called, the guy who wrote it is Jason New York. More about me, you can follow me at Andrew Frank Rodriguez Art on Instagram. You will see all my artwork. And thanks, I'm going to mention Shadow Clay Rabbit. Thank you so much for me getting into crazy minis, because now I'm sculpting my own minis. These are my Fallout. These are my Fallout minis that I created, right? And these are the ones I created like when I started like really delving into like the new games. So like the Medusa games, they had like a whole Dungeons Dragons thing. So version of like Fallout. I loved it, so I made my own characters.
Can I see those one more time? I just really appreciate it.
And
dude,
I think I've been working so hard to treasure.
Oh yeah,
there's one guy. There's
nice.
the second guy, but this is the first guy. I also gave him a pack. You see, I also painted his Pit Boy green for some reason. You know,
it stands out a bit. I get it. That's good.
You know, but now I've advanced my skills and I made my dwarven character as well. So this is for you. This is for you, Luis. You did this to me. You're taking responsibility now. You know,
he's a good enabler.
Yeah, and so also I make houses as well, Dungeons and Dragons houses, and different I'm sorry, these are two separate pieces. Because that's what I've been doing.
He's like, I make houses, and he pulls out a crypt.
Do you have some of your maps to show? They're.
Yeah, sure. If you go to
obviously.
Yeah. The thing is, the new stuff I'm doing, you can actually see it on my Instagram. That's my masterpiece. I don't know if it's royalty free.
I was not expecting that.
Yeah, sorry.
Always ambushes you with the sound. It's terrible.
Yeah. I'm not sure if they're gonna be like flagging or anything, but yeah, those are like the type of maps I do, very highly detailed. Like I said, I've been trying to get to the point where I can fool you that it was not Google Maps. I'm trying to get to that point of my drawing, But yeah, I pretty much draw a lot of like pirate maps, Dungeons and Dragons maps, fantasy maps. I've made recently, right now, I'm going to start selling it. It's going to be a 3-dimensional map. That's going to, you can print it out on a 3D print. I also have I also went and made a 8-bit style map. So if you're really into like, that's an illustration that I've been drawing because I'm writing a light novel because I have nothing but time. Who sleeps?
Nobody in this room.
But yeah, like I'm on part 2 right now. I'm on part 2 of a huge light novel that I'm drawing. You could tell these are these robots I created for another game system, one of my first game systems. I was the art director for this, and it is Boss Rush 2001 XX, Nations of the Mechanoids. These are like a love letter to 90s manga and 90s anime. So if you wanted to, again, make a character 3 times I, Pat LaBarre, an evangelical, a Super Troopers Votom's character, or you want to play a android who is blue with a blaster, go right ahead and collect energy cells. You can do pretty much anything you want. That is my new logo being drawn for my new page. That's going to be the official mark for the Andrew Frank Rodriguez art brand. I am drawing it right now. It is going to process. I already paid for it. It's going to be trademarked. That is going to be my official logo. I fell in love with that drawing to the point where I think I want that in every single T-shirt, even lapel. Even if you have an armband, I want it, everything in there. I'm sorry to say it like that,
but what pen are you using there?
I think I'm just using a Micron.
Nice.
Oh no.
No, it doesn't look like a Micron.
No. That's the new one. That's the I love this company, but they're a little more expensive than Microns. They're just a little bit more.
You're talking to someone who uses like the bougie Le Pens, so like I feel you.
Yeah, these are the right. These are the Winstons. These are the Winston Newton pens.
Windsor Newton.
The Winsor Newton pens.
I didn't know they made pens.
Yeah, they're an old school brand that want to dominate the market, saying, "Hey, we've always been here."
Yeah, because I have like lots of Winsor Newton watercolors, but I did not know they made pens.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not gonna diss the guys who got me there, but these pens do last a little longer. They give me a finer line. They do not rub off. They don't have like a schmear. They don't bleed. It's a really good pen. I think this is why you add another $3 to the price to a standard Micron.
Wow.
Yeah, fair. I mean, there's the Micron there. I recognize that.
Yeah. And so since I don't discriminate, you'll probably see me draw with a Micron. You probably see me draw with a Sharpie. I do not discriminate.
Yeah, whatever works, man.
Yeah.
No brand loyalty here.
No. Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you right now. I think Copics markers are a little bit too expensive in an age where I can do everything digital. But I
have a set of like 120 Copics that I've been collecting over the past I want to say 15 years.
Yeah. Okay. So
they're great.
That's my robots, right? Those are robots that I'm drawing for the new camp for a new book that they're coming out with, a Boss Rush. So like I said, you could, if you want to draw like robots, I have a couple of them that I'm going to be using. These are like weird alien looking ships, because you can also play Metroid. Oh, that's Inktober. That's when I was doing the Inktober thing.
How far did you get in Inktober? Because I was like, I'm going to start Inktober, and then I never started.
All
Inktober.
31.
Oh, props to you.
Wow.
I wanted. I found Inktober, but I found one that was for Dungeons and Dragons. I'm like, no, I'm drawing every 31.
Oh, cool.
And so I didn't do like Inktober. I did like I think it's like Orktober or something like that.
Nice.
It's like the Dungeons and Dragons version. Like, well, if you don't like Inktober because it's, well, you could draw this. So, yeah. So, but for Inktober, I hardly do like maybe five or six. Though though it's not. It's always time consuming. I mean, I have my own stuff, and it's very.
Yeah, it's always like brain consuming too, because you're like, okay, here's this really vague prompt. What the hell am I supposed to do with it?
Exactly. Gotta get
I wouldn't
creative.
be surprised if they take all the Inktobers, put it in AI, and say, "Oh, we created this. Here's the prompt." No.
Oh no.
Oh, these are my maps. These are the maps I've drawn. That's like a sunken city that was built on top of mangroves.
Wow.
Everyone likes a cowboy. Everyone still likes a gambit. But yeah, these are like my D&D style characters.
That's cool.
Yeah. But sorry, like I'm trying to give you as much energy. Some of them are like I forgot because it's Inktober. I don't know where my motivation. Yeah, these are like if you saw my minis, yeah. Luis, I blame you. But yeah. That's probably best. Yeah, that's me attempting Batman. No. For some reason, my hand. Anytime I would try to draw anything that's brand recognizable, it says no, sir. That's not you.
Like Batman to me.
Yeah, no, it's not the Batman. It's not the one from you understand. It's not my Batman. But it's still, to me, it still sounds like Kevin Conroy. Rest in peace. Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
The best Batman.
That's all I hear when I hear Batman. I just hear Kevin Conroy.
No, dude. Like the other day, a kid was telling me, right? They were like, "Oh, your mom said you draw comic books." So yeah, like, did you draw any of these? Like, no, I didn't work for them. No, I didn't work for them. Not I work for them. And then they go, "What do you work for?" I do Dungeons and Dragons. You like Dungeons and Dragons? It's like I felt bad. Like there's nothing the kid knew. Like I don't know. I try. Maybe later I'll do. Oh, what's that? Oh, what's that?
Shadow Rabbits pieces right here.
Dude, I mean, he made me a Fallout T-45. And that's the first thing I asked him to do for me. So he made a T-45. He made me a little Conan the Barbarian. I had him. I want him to make me a zombie. Too. Like because I was playing a game called Zombicide, like a board game, and you need pieces for. You really don't need them, but I wanted my own piece because I'm that kind of weirdo. Like, no, I want to use my own character. So I was trying to get him to make me a zombie that kind of looks like me. But I also have to make because there's a thing called there's like a berserk, like this big group zombie one, and I want him to make it. I have yet to go, guys. I'm sorry, I haven't been able to go to the conventions though to see you guys. I really wanted to go to. How was it? How was Cradle of Aviation? Because those guys always gave me love.
CradleCon is always one of the best conventions to go to. It is one of our favorites to go to, and we had a lot of fun. I was only able to go Saturday, but it was a blast. I enjoyed myself immensely.
Dude, I found out about that. I found about CradleCon because I'm so out of right now of the Comic-Con forums. Like even the friends of mine that I had even the friends of mine who used to work with me and volunteer, they've all moved on just like me. So it's kind of sad where like I don't have like my well, hey man, you still do conventions? Like a lot of the people who used to volunteer used to hook me up and tell me about these conventions way in advance. But we've all moved on. It's just kind of sad. A lot of my friends have. So, but
Moved up,
CreativeCon was.
moved
I'll
up.
tell you one thing. The best thing about CreativeCon, it always seems like it's an indie comic convention that embraces superhero culture.
Yep.
There's no nonsense. It's very professional. And the best thing for artists who start out, who are really good, who are really hardworking, I made the most money I've ever made at CreativeCon. I want to tell you right now, like I wish more people from the city go and see. I mean, it's like 3 conventions in one,
It is.
because you have
It's growing every
CreativeCon,
year.
then you have like the exhibit of like, because I'm a big gamer.
It's inside of an
Yeah.
aviation museum. Oh, you're talking about the video games.
The video game. No, the video games thing. But then the coolest factor about it is I get to see an old style, you know, fighter jet. And I get to
get a
see like the
Moonlander.
Moonlanders. I get to see like things
Creative
that
aviation.
creative aviation. Dude, they put me next to a what's it called? I think they call it a daisy cutter. You know that bomb? They have like a bomb that you drop and it turns everything into like. They put me in front of that with like a marine plane, and I felt like I don't care if I don't sell anything. I'm just gonna stare. You know, like, seriously.
Keep an eye on that bomb. Make sure it's not up to any mischief.
Exactly.
No, dude, they had me in a great. They had me in the great spot, man. They had me in front of like all these bombs and like all these like freaking missiles and a plane right on, like a plane that's flying on like on the side. And also I had Will Ramirez next to me, and I had, oh my God, Bronx Heroes, Felix,
Ray Felix,
who I couldn't stop laughing throughout that whole. He had me dying. I'm just like, oh, I like I said, that was my I'm fanboying at a convention because I was at the other side. I was at the table. I was selling my maps. So yeah, and you know, it was so amazing.
I remember that one. My wife comes over. She's like, "You gotta see this guy. He's making these incredible maps." I walked over. I was like, "I know you. I didn't even know you did that."
No, you know what? Because I think Ralph knew me and I know.
Well, we'd known each other for a while before you said
I was volunteering so long that people forgot I actually drew comic books.
I agree.
Like I was volunteering for like everybody. Like I know everybody. Like I would walk into a convention and I would know everybody. And they were like, Andrew,
they go, can you help out?
I was like, Mark laughed once because Andrew, you paid to be here. Why are you helping? Of course not.
Yep.
Just been conditioned to do it.
Exactly.
I mean, it's my hospitality bringing. You know, I went to school for hospitality first and restaurants, so and a hotel. So that's where I first got the "Can I help you?" kind of thing. And so when I went to dude, I remember a friend of mine was like, a friend of mine goes, "Hey man, you have a friend that you want them to have a good table?" It's like, what do you mean? Anybody you know that you like, you want to have a good table, you could have them have a good table. I was like, really? If I have a friend? So I think anyone who was like at a convention, did they put them next to the shitter? I was like, no, I know that guy. Put him another else. And they would do it. You know, it's like kind of those things. Like I was like, wait, they gave me power? Like, no, I don't need that. Like,
don't put them there. Put them over there. Come on. Yeah,
dude. I tell you right now, there are so many people I wish I could see again. I want to go to I'm going back to Brooklyn Con as a. I refuse to be a tabler there. I'm sorry. Apparently my standards don't meet their standards. I guess I don't know why he said that.
It's been weird. Like
yeah,
they've kind of like last year especially. They have something against local comic creators, which is ironic because they're supposed to be a comic con. So
Yeah, the Brooklyn. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
guys, you know that I live only blocks away from Brooklyn Con.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually both sites is literally on the bisect of my block. So I could have gone up one block, or I could have gone down the second one, the second place. I literally live in the Brooklyn Navy area. I live in that beautiful area of Pratt Institute, which is basically Clinton Hill, Bed-Stuy, and the Navy Yard. And so, like, I was like, hey, I'm so local. I'm actually local.
right,
Oh, but
you're like practically there already.
Yeah, you're
I was like, do you understand that the guys you're having here aren't really local? Oh, but this is Brooklyn Con. Like, unique. Here's what I love about the Bronx Con, the one that's the guy who's right now the what's his name, Wolf comic.
Mm-hmm.
90% from the Bronx.
Yeah.
You know? I'm sorry to say, like, I walked in and I was like, holy crap, these are all my Bronx friends. And I was like, this is the model. I was like, so I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I really should have a podcast just reviewing cons because of
Spill all the tea. Spill all
Oh, you
of
definitely should, because you've been on the inside this whole time. Come on.
the horror stories of what your celebrities really say.
Yeah, I've aired my grievances about Brooklyn Comic Con before, especially because last year, like, they rejected a lot of like independent creators, and they're just like, here, clothing and accessories and stickers. Like, really? I thought this was a comic con, not clothing con. So like, I kind of like,
no, dude, no.
petty, and I just call them Brooklyn Clothing Con now.
The worst offense was they actually had AI artists, and I had to say no.
Oh no!
Wow.
So that to me, that's like, okay.
That's like a death sentence right there.
That's like a death sentence. But you know what? I'll give them one more year, and then I'm gonna probably make my own podcast. Like,
see if they learned their lesson. If they didn't, then the tea will be spilt.
Yeah.
See what happens this year.
Oh dear.
No, but that's the one I actually like. Any of the local ones I want to go to. I want to go to Eternal Con. I have so much fun at Eternal Con. Those are my peeps.
I
Those are
haven't
my
heard
people.
anything about Eternal Con this year. Do you know if they're?
It's in. I believe it's in August.
Okay.
Or,
I thought it phased out. I don't know. I don't keep up with stuff.
Well,
let me give you right information.
Before, but I haven't heard anything about it for this year.
I have. I think it's. I'm sure. I know for a fact, CreativeCon is always first.
Yeah.
And then for all the Long Island ones that are like worth going to, like the bunch that Phil does, all the conventions that Phil do, I absolutely enjoy them because it's like all the Long Island comic guys who are there, who are just like they are just like a who's who of people who've always been in the game.
Their website still says 2023.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, I think they're kaput.
Well, they had one last year, so the question is, what's going on this year? But nobody's gotten an answer.
If they're having it in August, they're dead in the water.
Yeah, absolutely. Because
Anime NYC.
I don't know what's happening with them because I'm out of the loop. But they've always had a great con. So and they're always usually in July. So
that's
like
where we met you too, was at Eternal Con.
Yeah, and I was working. And on a sad note, like a lot of the reasons why I'm not back at Eternal Con is because or even working for Big Apple is because of like family issues. So it's nothing about, it really isn't about because I don't like the conventions anymore or even the COVID scare. It was really because I have like personal issues from family. So yeah. And I think people already knows me. Yeah. So I've been dealing with that. I'm still doing like commissions. I still have a couple of comic books to sell. But I'm sorry, I'm talking more. I think I'm so hardwired from like talking from the last con, and the last podcast. I'm still wired.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it. I'd be like dead after the first podcast,
Yeah.
and like that's
I'm
it.
dead after this one.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go to sleep after this. After this, I'm just gonna sleep, and I'll wake up. Yeah, I'll wake up around 6:30 in the morning, and I start work again, drawing and stuff, and then before I start my work.
The grind continues.
So when do you find time to mew?
I don't know what Mew is. What's Mew?
Why did you engage? You're supposed to ignore
I'm
him.
getting old, bro.
Yeah, everything Nat says makes me feel like I'm
You
like
mean
70
you mean
years
the
old.
missing continent of Mew? That's in that's
Pokemon.
actually somewhere in
I was thinking the
Pan-Asia.
Pokemon.
It was actually
Can't
part
believe I'm
of the
surrounded by
Lemurian Empire. I'm sorry,
surrounded
I'm
by
going to D&D. I'm sorry, I can't go into.
You're
I can't go
surrounded
into.
by
Can't believe
dinosaurs,
this.
Nat. You're surrounded by
Surrounded
dinosaurs.
by
Yeah. When he says Mew, I keep hearing Pokemon. Either that or the cute little Mew.
Yeah, or like, do I hold up a cat and have him go meow? Like, I don't know. I don't know how this works.
I went into Hollow Earth theory for a second. I'm terribly sorry.
Nice.
Well, that's what we are. We're geeks and D&D guys.
Just a bunch of nerds.
All right. Before we go, because we're at the
You
30
wanna talk the
mark
ice
already
wall?
here. Ray, tell the people one more time so they can go look you up, especially with that new bit of information you gave us. Go for it.
For sure. The Madcaps medieval fantasy comic on Kickstarter. It is on its final week. Double funded. We've got some stretch goals. We've got a couple more I would definitely love to unveil. They're hidden until we reveal. That's kind of the format we've done this time. We just put on a new add-on for $35. You can help pay for the services of professional dungeon master Michael Towson. We're going to play on June 7th. And it's limited to 6 players, as is tradition in D&D. Mind you, one time I ran a game with 15 players. It was surprisingly... It ran
How are
very-
you alive?
Yeah.
It was...
Yeah,
I can barely wrangle 4 players. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what the 6-player game is.
Yeah, I've done. I ran a 15-player campaign once, and it was it's not good.
I would not even attempt it. I know my limits.
You need co-DM.
But anyway, so I'm looking forward. If we don't have a full 6, I'm going to play along. But if I can get a full 6 to play, I'm happy to sit back and enjoy the show.
Get some popcorn, get some wine.
Absolutely. And Michael has he's a voice actor. He's done work for Disney and Will Shatner and other individuals. And he's got a couple different one-shots. He's ready to use one of them with us. So I'm just sorting through and seeing which one would be ideal. The kicker is, if you want to play, you have to be a creator, and you will be playing as one of the characters you've made in the comic book.
This just sounds interesting.
So maybe your character is more like a cleric or more like a this or that. You'll have to adapt accordingly and just see where this wild ride goes. But either way, the Madcaps, if you are looking for something different and something that is not really, it's not going to eat up a lot of your time. It's only 3 issues. There's no back stories. There's no back issues. It is definitely worth the investment, in my opinion. Go and check it out. And to quote Phil Russert, I'm only a bad writer if you can prove it. So you'll have to buy the thing to prove it accordingly.
I love that energy.
I love that. Yeah.
But either way, it's this first issue took me 2 years just because of financial and getting the right talent.
Yeah, you got some huge names in there, so I can
yeah,
imagine
definitely.
that took a lot of careful planning, a lot of saving up.
Yes,
But
and
definitely worth it.
issue 2, I have no intention of taking nearly as long, and I'm just really happy with how the whole thing has come together. And if you're listening, you take a chance. I guarantee you will enjoy it at the very least, for sure.
The next backer will be for backer number 50. So
Yes.
Oh, snaps.
We're there. We're almost there at 50, which is really cool. flattering to have 50 people want to read this thing. That's for sure.
Like when you think about it, you're like, I can't even fit 50 people into one room.
Yep.
Not easily, anyways.
Not easily. Not without some serious contortion going on.
Just lying all on top of each other.
You didn't specify
you
that they
fucking-
needed
that's
to
a
be
great idea.
alive.
Well, that escalated quickly.
You can fit more than 50
Sounds
bodies
violent.
in a room. I can attest to that.
Open the door. They're just.
Nat, what's your world record? You can plead the fifth if you want.
It's like it's in the higher 300s.
All right. So
Not
so
quite
many you lost
390,
count.
but like, yeah,
All right.
yeah, it was a fire hazard for a little bit, but
I mean, I'm sure once they start settling over time, you can make room for more.
Oh, that escalated quickly.
a little bit.
Wow.
I wasn't allowed to stuff more, but 390 is. I'll put that as like the top of what it could have been. But in all honesty, I believe we have reached the goal in where you're gonna post this.
Ooh.
Oh no, we're one away.
No, we haven't. We're one follower
We're
away.
one
So
away.
if someone just wants to make
Well,
a fake account and give that,
Yeah, Mr. Andrew Frank Rodriguez, you want to hit that notify me button? That way
He
we
probably
can get
did that a
this
while
full
ago.
art.
Andrew probably did that ages ago, man. So
yeah,
folks,
so we're
come
just
on, we got
waiting
one
on.
I was one of the OGs, man. I was one of the OGs.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we're just waiting for one more person.
I
and
just haven't
there
been
will be the
around, guys. I'm sorry.
We're waiting for
There you
one.
go. Got your back. There's 155. Reload it.
All right, full art.
Ooh.
Come on, full art. Full art.
All
Let's
right,
go,
I'll do
Matta.
it in the
Full art.
morning.
No, not right now.
Weird,
It's morning.
weird question. You're
12:09.
done.
Five.
All right.
Sorry.
It's 12:09. It's
Hi,
morning.
the dungeon master, the professional dungeon master. I think did he also work for Paizo as well?
That's a good question. I don't know.
All right, because his name is familiar, man. His name is familiar. That's all. No, his name is familiar. I'm like,
Movie database. You'll have to look them up.
okay.
Andrew's gonna be like, oh wait, I was taking care of his table.
It happened before, man.
I know.
Hey, do I know you from somewhere? Hi, my name is Andrew. Like, dude, I'm at a table helping people with their tables. But I really hope really hope you have a really fun adventure, because like I like the fact that even like there's so many great professional storyteller GMs out here.
Yeah.
That are, I mean, it got to the point where we could say it's like literally Geek and Sunrise and also Critical Role like opened this platform. There's always been professional dungeon masters who would usually hang out at the conventions that are pretty much like Gen Con and Gary Con and the fact that you could like, I mean, even I've play tested so many times, and the fact that that's now a profession is amazing.
Yeah.
Because I will definitely since I have like a 25-year like investment in game playing, being a dungeon master, it is a complete monster. I played a game I played a game where I was running 15 people, and I didn't know at the complete strat in Midtown Manhattan.
Yeah.
That was my old stomping grounds, right? And for the guys I know who did that, who are like the old Gen X and boom game, like boomer games back in the day, because those like I'm gonna say the good old nostalgia games. If I'm gonna have to think about me buying into that table, that's all. I'm just.
I thought so. I was like, I know where Andrew's going with this.
I mean, you know,
I don't think about this.
do I have to leave my house? That's the problem.
It'll be online. The only kicker is you have to play as one of your characters you've made in a comic
That's
book.
easy because Andrew's made a bunch of characters.
I've made a bunch of. I think I am my own character in a comic book. I think.
Perfect.
You know, like I could be easy kite. I don't care. You know. No, it fell through. But I was going to make an easy kite tabletop RPG. Sorry, guys, it didn't happen. But yeah, no, yeah, I got to go. You'll get a response in about 2 days.
See, Ray, I think you started something because you got a bunch of people out here going,
I've made some gnarly characters. Hell, I even made some World of Warcraft looking characters. Hell, I've made some World of Darkness looking freaking characters. I'm going to go into but it has to be published.
The
Published comic book, yes.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
I can't come as a map. Shit.
My God, Nat's on a tagging spree.
What is
This
he?
is why I'm an edge master.
He's the embodiment of maps.
Sigma.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. I'll have to listen. You guys have my contact info. I have your contact info on me. All right.
Yeah,
All right. Sorry. I'm sorry. This is how I conduct business. It's me like.
Oh, we already know how you are, Andrew.
That's why you're here.
Ralph
Exactly.
wants to go to sleep, despite the fact that he still needs to finish setting up the PC.
Mood. It's definitely
great news though on the progress. It is finally on the desk.
Oh, well,
it's been on the desk, and today I actually started to put on the
wires.
I'm forgetting words. I know I'm tired now.
Wires.
I was working on putting the monitor on. There we go. And I realized that this doesn't have a classic monitor cable. It has
it's HDMI.
HDMI cable.
Welcome to the present. I can't even say the future. That's like the present.
Ralph, do we also need to buy you a monitor?
Well, I got 3 of them here, and they all use the classic.
Define
cable.
classic. Are we talking about the red, yellow,
VGA?
white, or are we
I'm
talking
talking
about
about the ones with the screws in it.
Oh man,
Which
there's
one of those?
DVI, VGA. What are we talking about here? The white one or the blue
You know
one?
what? We're just buying Ralph a new monitor. Let's make it easy.
We can we can get a converter. I've used a converter
Yeah, you
before
can use
for
a
my drawing
converter.
tablet.
I just need I'm gonna have to get a different type of cable to put this thing in. Come on, folks. We know what we're talking about. It's a stupid cable with the
No, but is it the blue one or the white one?
Yeah,
There's a very different.
There's also a black one too.
Oh shit! I missed
Go
that
further
one.
back, using the white, the yellow,
Mata,
and
can
the
you
red.
add a second? Can you add a new
Oh, the
tier
RCA
on
jacks?
Sacrimony for the written Ralph?
What happened?
What?
Can we add a new tier for the Kickstarter on Sacrimony?
Wait, what's the tier gonna be?
Support
buy
written
Ralph a new monitor.
HDMI.
It'll be a stretch goal. If I have money left over, I'll use it to buy Ralph a monitor.
That'll be a really stretch.
Yeah, it'll be a very stretchy stretch goal.
Mata, let's make a trade.
What?
The physical art piece for getting Ralph a monitor.
Oh
Ralph.
wow!
Wait,
Ralph,
what
I'm gonna
physical
say,
art
Ralph,
piece?
I'm gonna be on you. I'm gonna be on Team Ralph right now. My new HDMI monitor croaked within 3 years. The one true and blue
How did you
monitor
do that?
is still working after
Exactly.
16 years.
I got 3 old monitors, all from Dell, and they're fine. They're fine. They're fantastic. They look great. Beautiful imagery. And I'm sitting there going, okay, I'm just gonna connect this to that, and I'm going, I can't do that. I need
Yeah, dude, just get a converter. I guess it's
Exactly.
probably like $15 at most.
That's probably what's gonna happen. All right,
Get the
folks.
converter.
That's the innards of us, and as usual, as you can tell, we just like geeking out on this show. But we are over. I mean, like we're at 38 now.
Oh
Ralph
my
just
God,
wants to
I'm
go to bed.
dying. I'm dying, everyone.
Mr. Shadow Rabbit was gonna show off his beautiful stuff. Come on.
Amazing. I
Wow.
love those
Just
pieces.
messing around.
That was done while we were talking.
So we just
Beautiful.
follow him at Shadow Rabbit Clay Guy on Instagram, and we'll see more of this, right?
Oh, definitely. As
Okay.
you
I
guys
might
were
even post
saying,
something again sometime.
Amazing.
Okay.
There is the other dragon, which Shadow has right behind him.
Excellent. All right, and then Sacrimony, hit that follow button. Even though the post is up, we will not show the post for legal reasons.
Yeah, for Banheimer reasons. But yeah, Sacrimony, A Tale of Love, Life, and Death in no particular order. Please still follow it. I have more goals in mind at 165 followers if we can get there.
Ooh.
I'm launching on May 27th, so that is like a couple of days from now, I guess.
If we reach 200, do we get second Flushmal sticker?
Ooh.
I mean, that just sounds like if we reach 200, am I gonna make Shen do more work, which doesn't sound fair to Shen.
She won't be in school.
True. Well, folks, you'll find out.
I mean, yeah, it's just like I don't want to make her do more work.
There you have it, folks. We've had a lot of fun today. Go check out all these beautiful works and these people. You know, Andrew, Shadow Rabbit, Ray, and Sorcier, and of course, Mr. Nat down there. And with that, I'll do what we always do on this show. I'll press the button, and where it stops,